Imagine a time of knights and castles, deserts and swords, a time when the clash of steel and the cries of battle echoed across vast landscapes. This was an era defined by the Crusades, a series of religious wars that shaped the course of history. The Crusades were not just battles, they were a collision of worlds, a meeting of East and West, where different cultures, religions and philosophies met on the battlefield. It was a time of great turmoil and transformation, where the fate of nations hung in the balance. In this turbulent era, two figures stand out: Saladin, the Muslim Sultan, and Baldwin IV, the Christian king. Their lives and legacies are intertwined in a story of conflict and respect, of war and chivalry. Their story is one of bravery, faith, and war. It is a tale of two leaders who, despite their differences, shared a mutual respect and a code of honor that transcended the battlefield. Saladin, a skilled warrior and a devout Muslim, rose to power in a chaotic world. Born in Tikrit, he grew up in a time of great political instability. His rise to power was marked by his military prowess and his ability to unite the fractured Muslim world. He dreamed of uniting the Muslim world and retaking Jerusalem, a holy city for both Christians and Muslims. Jerusalem was more than just a city. It was a symbol of faith, a beacon of hope, and a prize that both sides coveted. Across the battlefield stood Baldwin IV, King of Jerusalem. Baldwin, despite being struck by leprosy at a young age, was a wise and courageous leader. His illness did not deter him. Instead, it fueled his determination to protect his kingdom and his people. Baldwin's leprosy was a constant reminder of his mortality. Yet he faced his challenges with grace and strength. He was known for his wisdom in council and his bravery on the battlefield. His leadership was a beacon of hope for his people in a time of great uncertainty. He fought to protect his kingdom and his people from Saladin's armies. Their battles were legendary, each clash a testament to their strategic minds and their unwavering resolve. The battles between Saladin and Baldwin were not just about territory, they were about ideals, faith, and the future of their respective worlds. Each man, a brilliant strategist, pushed the other to their limit. Their encounters were like a game of chess, each move calculated, each decision critical. They respected each other as worthy adversaries, understanding that their conflict was part of a larger, divine plan. Their story is not just about war, but also about respect and humanity in the face of conflict. Despite the bloodshed and the battles, there were moments of truce, of mutual respect, where both leaders recognized the humanity in their enemy. It is a story that reminds us that even in the darkest times, there is room for honor and respect. To understand the clash between Saladin and Baldwin, we must understand the Crusades. The Crusades were a series of religious wars initiated, supported, and sometimes directed by the Latin Church in the medieval period. The most commonly known crusades are those to the Holy Land in the Eastern Mediterranean, aimed at recovering Jerusalem and its surrounding area from Islamic rule. These wars were marked by their religious fervor, political intrigue, and the clash of cultures that would shape the medieval world. Imagine Europe in the 11th century. It was a time of feudalism, where the majority of people were peasants working the land for their lords. The landscape was dotted with castles and small villages. Life was harsh, with most people living in poverty and under the constant threat of famine, disease, and war. The church played a central role in daily life, providing not only spiritual guidance but also social services and education. Life was hard and many people were very religious. The church was the center of community life, and its teachings influenced every aspect of daily existence. People attended Mass regularly, observed religious festivals, and sought the church's help in times of need. The promise of eternal salvation was a powerful motivator, and the idea of fighting for God was deeply appealing to many. When the Byzantine Empire, a Christian empire in the East, asked for help against the Seljuk Turks, the Pope saw an opportunity. The Byzantine Empire had been a bulwark against Islamic expansion for centuries, but it was now under severe pressure. The Pope, seeing a chance to unite the warring Christian kingdoms of Europe and extend the influence of the Church, called for a holy war. He called for a holy war, a crusade to take back Jerusalem, the holy city, from Muslim rule. Jerusalem was of immense religious significance to Christians, as it was the site of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection. The Pope's call was met with enthusiasm, and thousands of knights, nobles and commoners took up the cross. Motivated by religious zeal, the promise of adventure, and the hope of gaining land and wealth, thousands answered the call, marching east to fight for God and glory. The journey was long and arduous, fraught with danger and hardship. Crusaders faced not only the perils of battle but also the challenges of travel in a foreign land, including disease, hunger, and the harsh climate. Despite these difficulties, the Crusaders were driven by a sense of divine mission and the hope of eternal reward. The First Crusade was a success, capturing Jerusalem in 1099. The victory was celebrated as a miraculous triumph, and the Crusaders established a foothold in the Holy Land. The capture of Jerusalem was marked by a brutal massacre of its inhabitants, both Muslim and Jewish, which cast a shadow over the Crusaders' achievement. This victory led to the creation of Crusader states, including the Kingdom of Jerusalem. These states were established as feudal territories, ruled by European nobles who sought to maintain their hold on the land through a combination of military strength and alliances with local Christian and Muslim leaders. The Crusader states became a focal point of conflict and cooperation between different cultures and religions. But the Muslim world did not stay quiet. The initial shock of the Crusader victories soon gave way to a determined response. Muslim leaders began to rally their forces, seeking to reclaim the territories lost to the Crusaders. The struggle for control of the Holy Land became a central issue in the politics of the Muslim world, uniting various factions in a common cause. Leaders like Saladin emerged, determined to reclaim what was lost. Saladin, a skilled military commander and statesman, became a symbol of Muslim resistance. He united the Muslim forces and launched a series of campaigns to recapture Jerusalem and other key cities. Saladin's leadership and strategic acumen made him a formidable opponent for the Crusaders. The Crusades became a back-and-forth struggle for control of the Holy Land, a struggle that would last for centuries. The conflict saw periods of intense warfare, punctuated by truces and negotiations. Both sides experienced victories and defeats, and the legacy of the Crusades would have a lasting impact on the relationship between the Christian and Muslim worlds. The clash between Saladin and Baldwin was just one chapter in this long and complex history, a testament to the enduring power of faith, ambition, and the human spirit. Saladin, born Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub, was not born a king. He rose through the ranks through his military skill and intelligence. His uncle Shirkuh took him on campaigns in Egypt, a land rich and powerful, but also divided. Saladin learned the art of war and politics in Egypt. When his uncle died, he took control, eventually becoming the Sultan of Egypt and Syria. Saladin was known for his courage and chivalry, even among his enemies. He was a devout Muslim, known for his piety and justice. He united the Muslim world under his banner, creating a powerful force to oppose the Crusader kingdoms. Saladin's dream was to reclaim Jerusalem, the holy city, for Islam. Section 4. The Leper King Baldwin IV's Struggle and Triumph. Baldwin IV became king at the tender age of 13, already showing signs of leprosy, a debilitating disease. Despite his illness, Baldwin was a courageous and intelligent leader. He understood the threat Saladin posed to his kingdom. He knew he needed to be strong to protect his people. Baldwin was a skilled warrior, leading his troops into battle despite his condition. One famous story tells of Baldwin, too weak to walk, being carried into battle on a litter. His courage inspired his men, and his tactical mind won him victories against Saladin's forces. He became known as the Leper King, a title of respect for his bravery and resilience. Section 5. A Kingdom Under Siege. The Battle of Montgisard. The Battle of Montgisard, fought in 1177, was a pivotal moment in the conflict between Saladin and Baldwin. This battle was not just a clash of armies, but a confrontation of ideologies and wills. The stakes were incredibly high, as the outcome would determine the future of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Saladin, leading a large Muslim army, invaded the Kingdom of Jerusalem. His forces were well equipped and highly motivated, aiming to reclaim the Holy Land. Saladin's reputation as a formidable leader preceded him, and his army was confident in their mission. Baldwin, though weakened by leprosy, rode out to meet him. Despite his illness, Baldwin's spirit and determination were unyielding. He knew that the morale of his troops depended on his presence on the battlefield. His courage inspired his men, who saw him as a symbol of resilience and faith. The Crusader army was outnumbered, but Baldwin was a brilliant tactician. He understood the terrain and the importance of timing. Baldwin's strategy involved using the element of surprise to his advantage. A risky move given the disparity in numbers. He caught Saladin's army off guard, launching a surprise attack. The suddenness of the Crusader assault threw Saladin's forces into disarray. The element of surprise was crucial as it disrupted the enemy's plans and gave the Crusaders a fighting chance. The Crusader knights, fueled by religious fervor and loyalty to their king, fought fiercely. Their belief in their cause and their devotion to Baldwin gave them the strength to face overwhelming odds. The battlefield was a chaotic scene of clashing swords and desperate struggles. The battle raged for hours, but in the end, Baldwin's gamble paid off. His tactical acumen and the bravery of his knights turned the tide. The Crusaders managed to break through Saladin's lines, causing panic and confusion among the enemy ranks. Saladin's army was routed, and the Muslim leader barely escaped with his life. The defeat was a significant setback for Saladin, who had to retreat and regroup. His escape was narrow, highlighting the intensity and ferocity of the battle. The victory at Montgisard cemented Baldwin's legend and served as a reminder that the Crusader kingdom would not be easily defeated. This triumph was celebrated throughout the Kingdom of Jerusalem, bolstering the morale of its people and reinforcing their resolve to defend their homeland. Baldwin's leadership and the bravery of his knights became the stuff of legend, inspiring future generations to remember the Battle of Montgisard as a testament to courage and faith. See,